The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast.
Is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Hosted by three BFFs, Daddy Diwali, Chipotle Bear, and Bubble Boy and Seven.
And new intern, X Bacon Gamin.
This is Cortana. And remember, don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it. As always, Spartans, see you online.
Oh, hello. Daddy D. Wally here, and welcome to The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Coming to you live again from Western Pennsylvania at 9:23 p.m. Eastern Time Zone, the worst ever. Joining me, as always, is the co-host, Chipotle Bear. Chipotle Bear, how are you?
I'm doing all right, bud. I am literally walking in the door from a 7-hour road trip. We drove back from Santa Fe, New Mexico today. So it was a long ride. I'll be very honest with you. But it was a cool little trip, a little day trip. And honestly, it was almost an episode where all three of us were going to be out of town. But thankfully, I was able to make it home. And it was good, man. We'll talk more about the food and stuff as we get later into the show.
Sounds good. And joining us, as always, is the intern to the co-host, X Bacon Gaming. Go ahead, Bacon. Take some time to tell us where you are and about your little adventure today.
Mahalo. I am currently broadcasting from Hawaii. I'm overly sunburnt, overly stimulated. I'm eating good food, and I played around the golf with a Blizzard dev today. And I got lots of deets, but I can't share any of them.
That's amazing.
It's been a good time.
How did he shoot? How did you shoot on the golf course?
I definitely beat him, but it was a fun time.
Bragging. Nice. Well, guys, thanks for being here, and I'm glad at least one of us seems to be enjoying a true vacation. Jose, kind of vacation there.
A little bit. It's better. It's better now the kids are
short term. Now, I'm ready to come home, guys. I'm not gonna lie. So let's jump into some huge TNC shoutouts, Jose. Do we have any shoutouts?
We just have one from good old BigBox. He wrote into us.
BigBox.
A big shout out to BigBox 1431. Did someone else put this here? That wasn't me, right?
It was me.
Did someone come into the clutch? Thank you, Jose, for putting that in here. BigBox writes, Broheems, I have dug deep into the recesses of my brain and pulled out, hopefully, a compelling question. Let's say the ABK deal goes through for Microsoft. By the way, live as of right now, 9:26 p.m. Eastern Standard. We still do not have a verdict on the injunction with the FTC versus Microsoft deal. So he says, let's say it goes through. Then let's say that Microsoft isn't done buying publishers. That'd be crazy. If they get this, let's be real. If let's say they aren't done and they go after EA or Ubisoft next, is there a point in which the Xbox Nerd Chat panel goes, okay, enough is enough? We're now approaching an unhealthy looking market because Microsoft is gobbling up too much. If so, what is that limit for you? Another banger of a show from you guys, Excelsior. So shout out BigBox. We really do appreciate it. Good to hear from you, brother. Great question. Does anyone want to go first on this? Because I have thoughts. So Jose, do you have any thoughts or do you want me to go?
Why don't you go? Why don't you never get to go first? You go first.
Here's the thing, BigBox. I'm satisfied already as it is, to be perfectly honest. I only think
that's what she said.
I can't see them. I only see them going after somebody big, like you mentioned, like EA, or I don't know why you would go after Ubisoft, but if this deal doesn't go through, exactly what else do they need? I mean, they've got a stranglehold on the Western RPGs. We literally have so much from the Bethesda that we can't even imagine it yet. I would only say that if it goes through, I'm fine. I don't want them to do anything else. The only other one I think that would make sense would be Asobo with Flight Simulator and a Plague Tale. I think they should get those guys, and Crystal Dynamics. To me, those are two smaller developers, and I don't think that would be that big of a deal. But I have a feeling that maybe Bacon is not satisfied as I'm not even gonna finish that sentence. So Bacon, I'll throw it over to you. What do you think? If it does go through, do you think they're gonna make another huge purchase, or do you think this is it? Like I just, what else do they need? Like what else could they possibly need?
Well, we still have to think about their want and desire to break through in Japan. So I think their sights are dead set on
But is that
Sega.
ever gonna happen though? Realistically, do you see Microsoft ever truly competing in Japan? They may need to act like it, but really, are they going to? I just don't see that happen with Nintendo and Sony.
The only way to truly do it would be buy a Sega and make everything Xbox exclusive, but I don't think regulators will allow that. So, own an Atlas and all that would be pretty big, which had to figure out what to do with those pachinko machines. Again, I've been saying since day one, I'm solely in the camp of I want Blizzard and Blizzard alone. So Activision is just an addition. I don't think they'll be done. They'll definitely go after Asobo, maybe IO, some smaller stuff like that for a while to kind of cool the jets of the regulators. But as far as a Ubisoft and EA or something like that, I do not see that. That's a big number. But we're not in the boardroom meeting, so we don't know what Satya has given Phil, what open blank check he's given him. So I'd imagine we'll be done for a bit till we at least start getting some earnings back for $70 billion acquisition. But I think Sega's in the future. That's me.
All right. Even though they just recently said that they're not interested, but Jose, what do you think after this, if it goes through?
I mean, so there's kind of two questions here. The question of BigBox is asking is, when will we say it's enough? For me, that point comes when we start to get, I think, not like Embracer, but not in the sense that I want them to have 130 studios. I think that's
they're already got enough.
That's what I'm saying. They're way too much. My concern is where can they manage what they have in a reasonable way and still produce great content? That's where I start to get concerned. And if they can acquire ABK, and if they can still run those well, and if everything is coming out great content and great timing, and like they manage it, I'm not opposed to them trying to continue to buy more studios. I don't think that that's going to happen anytime real soon after the merger, if the merger happens, because again, I think it's going to be a lot trying to merge these massive companies, got to get Kodak out the door, got to establish kind of the new parameters. Like that's a lot of work that's got to happen for them to be able to make this like successful. So I don't think they're going to do anything real recently. They'll also be under a lot of scrutiny from other regulators. So they're not going to buy like a Square Enix even or Sega or anything like that. However, I would say down the road, I think the other question that comes into play is what will other companies do, specifically Sony, right? If Sony starts going after some big companies, some Square Enixes, potentially Ubisoft, EA, does that mean that they'll stop? Probably not, right? And that was something we've talked about since the start of this whole deal. Is this a game of escalation, right? Is this where like they buy this and then Sony buys this and then they buy this? Like that is, I think, the big concern of all the gaming thing, as long as we're talking about exclusives, where if we go the opposite way, they say, look, they own it, but they're really everything's open platform, like Minecraft, or like they claim Call of Duty is going to be. I'm really not that worried about them taking stuff on. It just really matters whether they can control it. And I honestly think once this happens, they're going to pause for a while. I don't think that they're going to keep going, at least in the near future. We'll see.
Sorry, I'm muted. Just let it be over, Bacon. Next week, right? What if it goes all of next week? When's the deadline? When's the date?
January 18th or July 18th is the deadline.
So
for the
I mean,
renegotiation
for sure. Next week we got to hear something, right? Because that would be messed up unless they're waiting, and then they're like the deal is done or something, right? Bacon. So wait, let's save it. We'll jump to that right. We'll jump to that as like our first news story. So, thank you, BigBox. Keep the questions coming. We really do appreciate it. I'm already fully satisfied, Jose.
That's what she said.
Thank you. I'm content with the studios we have. To
Me too.
me, I really don't care if, I mean, yes, obviously as a Game Pass subscriber, that'd be cool to have a I don't even know if Call of Duty is going to be allowed in it, to be honest, but like Activision games in general in the Game Pass, yes, incredible value. But do I like our boy Colin over on Sacred Symbol says he's dodged bullets with acquisitions. Like he doesn't really care that Microsoft's gotten these. To me, I this is one where I really wouldn't care if, in all honesty, if we got Call of Duty and if the status quo continues. So I'm okay. I don't want Microsoft to get any more. The only ones I can think of, I think Bacon mentioned, and then like I said, to me, Asobo and I would like Crystal Dynamics. I think that would be a cool one, and I don't think that's crazy. That would give them a third-person, narrative-driven action adventure game, over the shoulder with stealth elements, bow and arrows, climbing, and your typical Sony first-party game that they could produce there. So,
And it's
thank
not
you,
big enough that
BigBox.
no one's going to come suing them for trying to pick up
Yeah,
Crystal
exactly.
Dynamics.
I feel like that's fine. And Asobo, they seem to have a good working relationship with them with Flight Simulator. I would say maybe in the past, what's Ori and the Blind Forest, Bacon? Oh God,
Moon Studios.
Moon Studios. But I guess that guy is kind of crazy, and they've kind of burned that bridge with Microsoft. And so I'm fine. I'm fine. I just want it to be over. So shout out to BigBox. We really do appreciate it. Jose, let's jump into some Xbox gaming news for the week.
News team, assemble!
Kind of a short week this week, and I'm okay with that because we can talk a lot about what games we have been playing. So quickly, Bacon, news story number one. Like I said, as of 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on July 7th, 2023, we do not have a verdict on the FTC versus Microsoft injunction trial. Bacon, just give me your gut feelings about, is this good? Is this bad?
Talk about
What do you
Activision
think?
stock, what you're telling me.
Okay, yeah, talk to us.
Yeah, if I saw it on Twitter today, there's a bunch of buy orders out there, apparently coming from the stock exchange to buy Activision. So, and they're buying it close to 90 a share. So,
so you're making money. It's at 82. Actually, it's at 82.
Apparently, yeah, investors are still pretty bullish on it that it's going to go through. So, Judge Corley has multiple cases she's hearing right now. I know she's dealing. Florian Miller, if you guys aren't paying attention to him, he's looking at her docket and seeing everything she's working on right now. So just relax. It's coming through, guys. And we all have hopes and expectations we're going to hear by Wednesday, and now it's Friday. I mean, it happens. Just as long as it comes out by the 18th, and I'm pretty sure both parties already know what she's doing. So from what I understand, there might be a cooling off period from her time she, because the FTC has to have another opportunity to appeal her decision. So we'll see how interested Lena Khan is to continually getting her brains kicked in court. So,
so when did you buy your stock, Bacon? Do you remember?
I bought what, 2 months ago at $75 a share, and it's at 82 right now.
You've already made money. It's funny looking at the last 6 months. You can see on Tuesday, April 25th, $86. Then the next day, 76. So that was when CMA blocked it. Correct. It's so crazy to see that drop, but it has been gaining and in climbing, I should say. And so it is a little bit down, but
yeah, there was a big jump from Diablo's launch. We saw that in the stock price, and then kind of leveled out, and it's kind of just been.
When did Diablo launch?
So.
Was it?
Yeah, June 6th.
A little before it, yeah.
June 6th. Yeah.
Either way, guys, let's hope this is all over next week. Jose, any thoughts? Closing thoughts?
I want to ask one question to both of you because I was listening to Season Gaming today. Shout out to those guys, and they said something for the first time, and they were very confident about it. And I was just like, wow, that's kind of the first time I heard that. In your opinion, do you think that if let's say that the injunction stands, I know that the party line has been that they're dropping out of the ABK deal, that they're just saying, nope, we're going to back out. That's even what they told the judge as part of their argument. Do you think that is true, or do you think they're really going to walk away from this $70 billion deal, both Kotick side and, of course, Microsoft side? Any thoughts on that from either of you guys?
I don't. That's a tough question for me, Jose. Honestly, I don't.
I know
I,
because you
I
don't care that much, but I mean,
no,
put
it's not
yourself
that I don't care.
in
If I were
Activision's
them,
shoes. Would you
obviously,
walk
if
away
they're
from
going to make a
$70
bunch of
billion?
money, but what are their options at that point? I guess is what I say.
Oh,
So you can appeal.
trial is what I'm saying. Like they go to trial in August.
So
Right.
Microsoft eats the $3 billion.
Yeah.
That
Not eats it. It's just they give it up kind of as a down
down
payment, I
payment?
guess, if you want to think of it like that.
Not really, because wouldn't they still have? That's just $3 billion in addition to the $69 billion.
I don't know the
Probably,
answer.
right? I'm guessing. So,
But that
a good question. I guess you're right. I guess if I'm confident, and this just means it's going to go to trial, and from what people have said, the FTC hasn't had that great of a trial. I don't know. It depends. I don't know, man. I've heard things on the other side. Like I know Bacon likes to quote that Florian Miller person, but like I've heard Colin was talking about some guy on the opposite and saying how great FTC did and how Microsoft shouldn't have this deal. But at the same time, also saying Sony are pigs. They just want eat and want more and more and more. So, dude, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a business analyst. So I don't feel like I'm in a position to really make that call. I mean, if I'm them and I still think it would happen, and I still think there's a chance, and I'm going to risk you're risking $3 billion basically, but the payoff could be huge. I guess, yeah, you go to trial, but Bacon, give me closing thoughts.
Well, looking at it through Activision investor shoes, its stock is sitting at what 81, 82 right now, and they're being bought for 95. So I'm sure Activision investors still want this deal to go through. And Bobby Kotick is legally obligated to make money for his investors. So we have to think of it through that. I think Microsoft might have been doing a little posturing saying, hey, this might not go through if you block it right now, just to kind of speed up the time frame. So I still think it comes down to the fact that, $15 a share, depending where it's at when it closes, Activision investors stand to make a lot of money, and they'll probably still push for this to go through with all the other legal troubles Activision's been in. So I don't think Bobby holds all the cards here. I think the investors hold all the cards. And at the end of the day, I think that's the most important part.
Well, and that was my whole point with that question, Dan, was that it was Hogue that brought that up. And of a lot of the people I know in the gaming industry, I tend to trust his opinion. He said, what you have to understand about the injunction is the injunction is not saying that they're denying the merger. That's not what that means. The injunction is basically saying like, no, this needs to go to trial. And so what Hogue was saying, he was like, all you have to do is convince a judge that there's some questions that still remain about whether this is harmful for consumers. And if you can make that a yes answer or even a maybe answer, then they grant the injunction. And then it kind of becomes on Microsoft to prove it. Hogue said, even in trial, he goes, I still think FTC is going to lose here. I do think they would lose if it went to trial. This is just kind of buying more time. But ultimately, I think that's why I asked that question, because this is the first I had really heard that narrative. All the other narratives have been like we had heard for weeks, is like if they say no, they're out of the run. And I guess with the point that they made that I thought was fair was like, yeah, I guess if I was willing to spend $69 billion on something and I got a kind of an initial like, I don't know, we need to chat more, but it was only a month wait because the trial's set for like early August. Would I not gamble that money? And I kind of think I would, I guess. I mean, I'm not obviously Microsoft. I don't have billions of dollars, but for as grand as this could be for Microsoft and Xbox, I guess it makes
yeah. I mean, that's the great point, though, is like it would just be for Microsoft. I mean, for Activision, they're like, yeah, of course we want to go to trial. We just got $3 billion,
Yeah, let's let it
why
ride.
not? Exactly. So it would be up to Microsoft at that point. So I honestly just hope it doesn't get to that point. If you couldn't tell, I just want this.
You're just ready to be
dude.
done.
I can't. We've learned a lot, and I'm just ready for it to be over. So speaking of over, let's move on to the next news topic. I'm going to save the Fallout one for Matt. We're planning on having Matt on hopefully next week, and he's a big Fallout guy. So I want to save that one because he's a big Fallout fan. So the big news for me this week, gentlemen, and I know Jose is also pumped. News story number two. Wario tweeted out saying that Kotaku reports that Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake is in the works, in early stages, and will not be complete for at least a few years. Ubisoft Singapore heavily involved in development. Jose, you already know, I think this is one of the best Assassin's Creed games ever. Probably might be my number one favorite of the old school ones, even surpassing AC2. And I say that though, but I haven't played AC2 in a long
I
time. And
don't
that
know
was
about
really
that.
good because the jump from 1
No, but jump
to
from 1
2
to
was
2 was
huge.
awesome,
Was
dude.
huge. And you know I love my Ezio
I
de
love Ezio, man.
Firenze de Auditore. Is that
I
his
mean,
name?
Altair
I
was
think it
type
is.
2 though. Yeah.
So anyway, so Jose, I cannot wait for this. This is fantastic news. If for some reason you haven't played AC4 Black Flag, I still recommend you play it. It would be a little rough,
I
but
would
I think it's
wait.
like
I would
30
wait for the remake. You got plenty to play until then.
Nah, you're right. You're right. We do have plenty to play, but I mean, 3 years, I still think it's great. So Jose, tell me, how hyped are you for AC4 Black Flag remake?
So I'm very, very hyped. I do have one tiny concern, which I'll address in a second. But in general, this was an amazing game for me, and part of it is a nostalgic thing. I told the story a couple times on the show before, but when I was getting married, which was literally 10 years ago in October this year, my best man, Dan was one of those best men, bought me an Xbox One as a groomsman gift. They collectively chipped in and got me an Xbox One. And before you go and say that they're really mean because there was a one, at the time we didn't know that the one was going to do what it did, and it was actually an incredible gesture because I wasn't going to drop out of gaming, but like I was getting married, I knew I was going to start a family. Like I was kind of thinking like maybe I should find a different hobby, and that totally turned it around for me in the sense that I've stuck with it. I'm so glad that I did because I get
We
so
got
much
him
joy playing
addicted,
games.
boys.
Truly more than ever. And so when I got that, one of the first games I got, because it was a launch title, was Black Flag. And I remember me and my wife moved into our house together. We had our wedding together. It was up in North Denver. And I remember so many nights playing Black Flag. And even my wife, who is not a fan of video games in the same way I am, saw me playing it a couple times, like, oh, this is really cool. Oh, you're a pirate. Ooh, that's cool. Like she recognized how really cool it was. And it had so much end game stuff with your ship, which was all new in Assassin's Creed, going for like the white whale, which was amazing. Oh yeah, Coach Goose in the chat on the Black Flag hype train because it's an amazing game. I mean, truly, it is just a super dope game. It's got a great beginning. You develop your character Edward in such a great way. It had so many mechanics that were new, and it followed 3, which was almost a total flop. Right? Like 1 was
Oh
awesome.
yeah,
2 was even
3.
better. 3 was going to be this massive thing, and it just didn't hit. It was pretty bad actually. And then 4 just kind of brought it back into relevance. And so I'm really excited, man. I will absolutely pick this up day one. It's in that Dead Space tier for me where I was like, I don't care that I played it a billion times in many hours. I will absolutely play it again, especially if it's in modern console with updated graphics, 60 FPS, that kind of stuff. The one thing that is a little tiny concern for me, and I've heard this on a couple other games, is like, it hasn't been gone that long. Like the fact that you can still buy it today and play it,
Dude,
and it runs
that was
decently.
almost 10 years. You know, it's gonna be over 10 years
I
ago
just said that because of my wedding anniversary 10 years
Yeah.
ago. But I'm just saying, dude, like when I
It's
talk
gonna be
about
over 10 years.
but remakes is like it's
Dude,
I
hey,
don't
wait, let me ask you
where's the
this,
line,
Jose.
I guess? That's the question is what is the line for a
Uh,
reasonable remake? Is it 10 years?
Sony established that line with The Last of Us remake.
Which was what, 6? 6 years?
That came out also in
2013.
2013 on
Yeah.
PS3
But it came out what, a
in
year ago?
July.
So 9 years? That's the line.
Jose, back to it's a great game.
It's a great game. I shouldn't be complaining. It's absolutely a wonderful game. I'll absolutely
Goose
pick
is
it up.
saying a decade needs to be the line. Well, Sony didn't follow that.
That's
And
fair.
there are also rumors remaking Horizon Zero Dawn, which is
That one is
completely
insane to me. That is
just
insane to me.
unnecessary for so many reasons. So, any closing thoughts there, Jose? Sorry.
No, I'm just pumped, man. If you've not played Black Flag, if you love AC games, go pick it up now. If you're kind of into them, but you got plenty to play, wait for the remake. But when it comes out, pick it up day one. I promise you will not be upset. It's a great game.
And for anyone who has not played it, to set up the game, you are Edward Conway. You are this kind of scrub pirate.
You're a castaway.
So who gets adopted or recruited into the assassins, and you build your
ship.
crew.
Yeah.
You get to customize your ship. There's moments where you're sailing the seas. If you like Sea of Thieves, like this is the same kind of similar vibes. Where I actually hope Sea of Thieves, or I want more Sea of Thieves to have a little bit more of Assassin's Creed type single player mission objective focuses in combat, way better combat. You're still going to viewpoints, climbing, but it's more focused because you're going basically from island to island. You've got parts where your crew's singing along with you, Jose. You know, there are parts where you're just sailing in the game and the crew starts singing, the sun setting,
You see the seagulls out there.
Yeah, you see like a beautiful island. Like it's so awesome. And that's where they introduced, like, I don't know if that was the first game where you do diving and to find like treasures and stuff, which was a cool mechanic that I actually enjoyed because it was reasonable.
And the map was reasonable. That was the other nice thing. It's a big map, but it's not
But it's
like
not like
today's
overwhelming. Yeah, exactly. Like the land masses weren't crazy. Think of, I guess, if you'd played a more recent one, like what was not Origins, the one after that, Odyssey, but like more focused on just being on islands, like in the Caribbean. So beautiful game. I cannot recommend it enough, especially the old school combat with the parrying and the more, I would say, more fun combat, not the take down a certain number, got to raise your stat score. I hope they don't add like gear and stuff like that and just keep it simple. So shout out to AC4 Black Flag. Goose, closing thoughts on this? I don't think did you play this one? I can't remember.
Bacon, did you play this?
Sorry, Bacon.
I played a little bit. My brother tells me it's his favorite of all time. Is this more of the Assassin's Creed 1 where you're stealthy and climbing stuff, or is this more Odyssey style?
It's more
definitely more 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Because I've never been a stealth guy in games. So that's what drove me away from the first Assassin's Creed. I don't like listening to conversations and hiding in bushes.
There's still a little bit of that, but what was cool, I just remember this, Jose, is that after every mission, it would say, did you like this? Yes or no. Remember, Jose? It was like, rate this mission. And so they got a lot of feedback from this. So I did appreciate that, Bacon. You can see how it kind of shaped away from, there are a few, I remember it did start slow and there were some following missions, but I don't think it was too stealthy, right, Jose? Like you could just combat your way through it. But I do remember that was a cool thing, is that they asked for your feedback after every mission, which I was like, no, this was terrible. And so I appreciated them giving us that option. And what was really cool about 4 too is that it tied Connect. Remember, Jose, it tied the ending of 3 into the future parts, which was done. I remember it was done really, really well. Like that's where you first, I think, really started to get into the Abstergo stuff was in 4, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
so
in the anime stuff. The one thing I'd also add is Bacon is, which was nice about it, it was kind of the first Assassin's Creed where you could choose stealth or just going in guns blazing. Because you when you do that kind of stuff, you really have the option. Like you basically imagine going into a cave, so it's like a contained area. It's not like there are a couple major cities, Kingston I think is one of them, but most of the time you're out on these islands, so you're not dealing with large amounts of enemies. So again, if you want to try going stealthing as you get that route and develop that skill tree, cool. If you'd rather go in just like I'm going in quickly, and if I don't make it, I'll just restart the mission, totally fine too. That was what I really liked about it, because you could kind of choose your way through.
I got one more comment from Goose, Bacon. He said, isn't the point of being an assassin to be stealthy? Yes.
He's absolutely right.
But Bacon, what you'll appreciate is that you're also a pirate. And the point of a pirate is to get booty and to go, kill people and steal stuff. So that's where it was. It was a really good balance. Exactly. So Bacon, I can't recommend.
I loved Odyssey, and I actually really liked Valhalla. So
those
are more my vein.
Black Flag.
So I would like. Then I'll try the remake for sure.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love it. So shout out Goose. Goose said Leroy Jenkins. Just everybody, let's go. So shout out to Goose. I know he's excited for that one. Thank you, Goose, for being here, brother. News story number 3. We're going into some quick stories now. This is coming straight from Bethesda, their Twitter account on the 5th. The Arcade Challenge update for HiFi Rush is available now. Play 2 brand new modes, unlock new rewards, and challenge yourself to get the high score in this free update. There's also some really cool samurai themed, or I guess Japanese themed DLC as well for your characters' skins. I just wanted to say that there is a cool update for Boss Rush. I will say though, for me personally, I don't know if this is enough for me to get into the game, because like I don't know, I never really like arcade boss rushy type modes, but I think it's cool that they're still supporting the game. If Goose, for some reason you have not played HiFi Rush, you should play HiFi Rush. Game of the year to me, contender still. Bacon, does interest you in the game, or would you rather more DLC, or are you just satisfied with the game just being how it is?
I think some more big story expansions would be pretty sweet, or more character development into your buddies, Pepper and I'm already forgetting all their names, but
It was Pepper, Chai, 808.
right.
The big guy. What was his name?
What was the other
It
one?
was like
The other
Big
other
teddy
one.
bear.
We'll look it up.
But Hi-Fi Rush was a game that I beat, put it down, and haven't gone back to. It was such a great standalone experience all in itself. Does it have legs where it's going to constantly get new maps and missions? Probably not. But will I be on board for the sequel? Absolutely. Hi-Fi Rush 2 is probably going to be dope.
Macaron.
Macaron, yeah. So will it bring me back? There's too much to play right now, so I don't know if another game mode would bring me back to playing it, but I loved it so much that it's almost like a fine piece of pie or wine, or you drink it once, you say, I don't ever have to do that again. So probably not going to bring me back, but who knows?
Who do you think, according to the gamer.com, is the number one character in Hi-Fi Rush from 10 to 1? Who do you think's number one?
Like to play as?
808.
No,
808
just
is what I was
of
gonna
characters. No, they have Cinnamon the robot. Cinnamon
Yes.
Cinnamon is
She
number
had
one.
jokes. Cinnamon
Number
had
2,
jokes.
Rekka. Number 3, Peppermint. Number 4, Corsica. Number 5, Chai. Where's 808? What the heck? Macaron.
Right.
6.
Maybe they don't consider him a character. 'Cause he was like
Zanzo
mascot.
7. Yeah, Mimosa. Mimosa was a cool boss fight. That was the one where the dance and you had to she's
That
like,
one was so hard for me, dude. I did not do
it
that
was
on
it
that
was
one.
I agree it was hard, but it was cool. Like the whole
It was
setup
unique, yeah.
cool. Yeah, exactly. So Goose says he's still thinking about Assassin's Creed. His last comment is get booty. So Jose, any closing thoughts on Hi-Fi Rush?
I'm glad that they're continuing with the IP. I am also in your guys' camp, but I'm probably not going to pick this up because I got a lot to play. I got a couple other games I've been playing. I'll talk about in a little bit. But I'm glad that Tango's continued to work on it. It does give me hope for a sequel one day. I think a sequel would be awesome. I would definitely play that. But for now, I'm probably not going to pick up the arcade mode. But certainly support them. Certainly hope that they do well.
Next quick news story, and this is dedicated to Miso Pony. Man, I wish my brother would actually watch the show because this would be his favorite segment. And I actually just added this, boys. You don't even know about this one. Friday the 13th, the game developer bestows max power on all players ahead of the shutdown. So back in June, the game would be pulled from stores the 31st of December. But now, they are going to have every character on the 6th, so just yesterday, providing access to a whole bunch of high-end rewards previously gated behind certain XP and customization point thresholds. And so you will be able to all players will be boosted to level 150. We'll have access to all of Jason's kills, challenge goals, and we'll get 30 of the game's most legendary perks. And so, Pony, this one is specifically for you. I actually really enjoy this game. I'm sad that it's going to be ending. Jose, I know you played it and enjoyed it. Are we going to have one last drop in Friday the 13th?
In October, but that was our tradition.
I was going to say in October.
We got to do it. Get everyone
going
back
to it.
That's a
I
cool.
think Goose played too.
Yeah, Goose definitely played. That's a really cool way to do this, man. Since they knew they're going offline, like why not? Why hide all those really cool things that only a few people ever got to see? Just give them out there. Let's have a good time and then shut it down the right way. That's cool, man. I like that.
And by the way, Jose is also one of the #1 Friday the 13th fans. I went back and watched the first 4 or 5 films for him. I can't go back and watch those again. They're pretty bad.
If they're on, they're fun. They're fun watching. But if it's like because you want to see a good film, that is a poor choice.
The acting is comical, like straight up. Like I'm like, this was good acting back in the 80s? Like I was just like, this is the best actors they could get. So Coach Goose said, love that game. Rest in peace. Goose is in. Bacon, I believe we got you to play maybe a few rounds with us.
Yes, you gifted it to me.
Oh,
that's right. You did gift it to him.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Better have been like $1.
In my opinion, and I guess I haven't seen all the higher end power ups. The best cool thing they did with Jason is if you get high enough, you get the color scheme from the NES Jason. You know, like the turquoise.
See, and I didn't know that until you told me that
suit.
recently. And then
that's
the music
so dope,
makes sense that the music's playing is from the game. And I was like, why is it
that's
playing
an
that
awesome
that
Easter egg,
crappy
dude.
music? So, Bacon, are we going to drop one more time? And have you seen all of the Friday the 13th films?
I have seen them all. I'm more of a Nightmare on Elm Street guy. I love me some Freddy Krueger. And I'm also more of a Halloween guy.
Truly
Michael Myers
terrifying.
was because I had a big
I love
crush
all
on
those.
had a crush on Jamie Lee Curtis for a really long time. Is that
Dude,
weird?
Jamie Lee Curtis
No.
in what was it? Where she's like naked the whole time?
It's
What
Trading
was it?
Places with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't know she
no,
was
it
naked
is.
in that, but I
I
need to look
assure
that
you.
up. No, True Lies. Isn't she in that too? Oh, yeah.
She
I don't
is
think
with
she's naked in that,
Schwarzenegger.
though.
I don't think
Yes,
she was scantily clad in those.
yeah. He's like
That's
dense for me. He
one
he
of the
makes
best
you like
movies
strip
ever
prone.
made.
Remember, it's like dark. Yep.
Yes, I actually fell in love with her in a movie called Blue Steel when she was a rookie cop and had an incident with a bad guy.
Jose, isn't he referring to Blue Steel, the famous move look by
From with
Derek
Derek Zoolander?
Zoolander?
Dude, seriously.
True Lies. Yeah.
So-
I got a goose.
If I'm home and I have it downloaded when you go to drop, I might drop in. I still don't understand the game or what I got to turn on some generators and plug in some light bulbs.
We might have to try the Texas Chainsaw one day, and that's the new one that's coming out. That's an asymmetrical horror one that's supposed to kind of be taking the place.
Not
Just
the
saying,
same, man.
better than freaking PUBG out there. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
Anything's
dude!
better than
Speaking of PUBG, me and Pony just got a kill. We got a win.
You got a
actually
kill?
flipped this.
Oh my gosh!
No, I had 6 kills. I was tearing it up, even as Pony. It was incredible. I'll talk about that later. So, shout out, rest in peace to Friday the 13th game. It really makes me sad that they can't figure that out because the game is fun and it's still populated. You guys,
It
every
is.
time
It's a fun
like,
game, dude. Even still,
people are still. You think PUBG is bad and janky, bacon? People are still playing this game. So, shout out to Friday the 13th and the next. This one made me laugh. So we are gonna do the last final story is Games with Gold, or sorry, not Games with Gold, coming to Game Pass for July, and I loved it. So Xbox Game Pass tweeted, starting to think these games might be coming soon, and of course the big ones that are coming out is Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming back to Game Pass, cloud and console. The Cave is coming back. That was also on Game Pass. I remember before. Common Hood. I can't read the other one. I'll read it in the next part. But then also what's coming? Exoprimal. McPixel 3 is coming, and Insurgency Sandstorm and Tectonica, but McPixel 3 is from Devolver Digital. So Devolver quote treated Game Pass saying that, and they said McPixel 3 and Grand Theft Auto 5 have sold a combined 50 million copies worldwide, and now both are hitting Game Pass. And of course, they're referring to basically just Grand Theft Auto 5 selling 50 million copies. And so don't forget about McPixel also contributing to those massive numbers. So boys, I actually think Bacon, this seems to me like a lot of repeats in there, except for Exoprimal. Isn't that a new release? Am I right?
Yes.
They've done like betas and stuff, but this is the release.
Wait, but before I give it to Bacon, I do want to read the description for McPixel 3. McPixel 3 is a mind-blowing save-the-day adventure that sees the titular wannabe hero avert one disaster after another at every turn using unconventional yet entertaining methods of mayhem. So shout out to Volver for the hilarious tweet. Bacon, but Grand Theft Auto is a big game, right? But at this point, who hasn't played it? Again, like who has not played this game? So talk to me. Anything? Are you going to play Exoprimal?
I haven't finished Grand Theft Auto, but I was told that all publishers hate Game Pass, but why would Take-Two be putting Grand Theft Auto back in there? So I'm assuming.
I'm glad you asked. Derek Strickland, shout out to Derek Strickland, did a lot of tweets and research on this. He basically found the evidence and looked up stats. Every time Grand Theft Auto 5 has been in Game Pass, which has been twice before, or PlayStation Now, you see a huge increase in their profits and spending just from that game being in there. So Take-Two clearly sees that when they put it in there, they're making a lot of money from microtransactions on that. So sorry, go ahead, Bacon.
I just McPixel 3 sounds kind of interesting. I love everything.
Dude, I got to give it to
Devolver
them
does.
just for their tweet. I need to go download
Right.
this.
Devolver is kings at their craft. They find a way to make us interesting games that we're probably not going to be interested in, and they are a little snarky on Twitter or on Threads. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Follow us on Threads. Same name. Speaking of other games coming, I did want to say PG Quips on this tweet said, "Don't ignore the cave. It's a Ron Gilbert classic from Double Fine."
It's
I
from
did
Double
not
Fine.
know
That's
that.
cool,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
So where's the description? So the cave. The cave is an adventure game from Monkey Island and Maniac Mansion creator Ron Gilbert and Double Fine Production, the award-winning studio behind Psychonauts' Brutal Legend. Assemble your team of three from 7 unlikely adventures, each with their own unique personalities, then descend into the mysterious depths. So apparently I should check this out because I love
Yeah.
Double Fine. I did not know that. So I think I need to check out the cave, boys. Jose, any thoughts?
I mean, might check out McPixel. I had not heard of that, but I appreciate the humor. And if it's like a pixel based game that's like easy to play on like the ROG Ally, that could be a cool one to play there. Same with the cave. I saw that description and I was like, oh, I might check that out too. That looks great. I've been into a couple of real like indies recently that I've really liked, which I'll talk about, that those kind of fit in that same thing. And the Exo Primal, I kind of go back and forth. I mean, I do think once it's on Game Pass, like why would I not at least try it out and see what it's like? Maybe it is really fun. I mean, I always like dinosaurs, so like kind of a Titanfall against dinosaurs isn't like a horrible idea. I just don't know if I'm going to put hours and hours into it, so we'll see about that. Do you want? I have to laugh a little bit about the DLC updates. If you want to talk about that first, and then I'll.
Yeah, sure. I'll go over them really quick. So there's Race Like a Barbie and Ken in Forza Horizon 5. We're getting that Barbie DLC. I think we mentioned that before. FIFA Women's World Cup is available in FIFA 23. I talked about Hi-Fi Rush. Wo Long has a DLC. Dang it, there goes my 1,000 out of 1,000 on that game because I am not getting the Battle of Zongyuan. And Sniper Elite 5, Kraken Awaits DLC. Game Pass members save money on that. I do want to say leaving July 15th, XO1 Paw Patrol, the movie. Shout out to Bubble Boy. I know he likes those games. And Spelunky 2 is leaving Game Pass. Spelunky 2, I believe, is an EA Access game. So go ahead, Jose.
Nothing. I thought I don't think we talked about the Horizon thing, or maybe it was on the agenda and we didn't actually talk about it. But I think this is a smart move for Xbox. Like, is it a little silly? Yeah. Is it like, will I drive? Maybe I might go drive around in the Hummer that's
If
electric.
it's free,
and
I'm going to
everything.
add it to my garage. Jose.
Totally, 100%. And I think that kind of stuff brings some nice publicity to Xbox during the summer season. So I just wanted to say that. I thought that was cool.
Bacon, let's talk about what we have been playing. So I don't know how much playing you've been doing out there in Hawaii. Does your wife, does Nell let you bring the ROG LA out there? Because I would have.
For the flight, of course.
I did bring it out, but all day in the sun, once you get back to your hotel room after eating good food, you just kind of like put on MTV's The Challenge till you fall asleep.
Okay, Bacon falls asleep early, guys. You heard it here first.
Oh my God,
I've been
asleep. You should see my sunburns are epic right now.
Dude, if you can't tell,
do you put on sunscreen, Bacon, for real?
I did. I just missed.
Dude, you got to reapply it like all the time when you're out there. You are close to the equator, man.
Thanks,
Come
on.
I burned really bad yesterday. But I got the best footage of a turtle. I've never swam with a sea turtle before, and this dude just came right up to us. So I did take my cell phone in the water and chance destroying my iPhone just to get that video. But I did on the flight over. That ROG Ally was a true champion. I never had to bust into the battery bank though, because by the time the motion and by the time the battery was dead, I'm just like, I'll just start watching one of the movies I downloaded. But I did play some Skyrim at 30,000 feet. Ran perfectly well. It's incredible. But I did got into emulation thanks to Chapeau, and I was playing Super Mario Brothers 2 religiously just because I was concerned of battery life. So I played a bunch of that and a little bit of what's that? That game? I can't even remember.
Are you talking about NES Mario 2, like where you're picking up the turnips from the ground and stuff?
Yep.
Good choice.
Played the heck out of that. So, and then, Cuphead was the other one I was playing on the flight. So
choice. Good one.
It's good to find offline games that work well on the Ally, and it's hard though, because you got your cup and then bring you your drink, and then you got to set that, and you don't want to spill your drink on your
There's
Ally.
There's not a lot of space on
the right.
There's
not.
Up.
So I had to make some tough choices on the flight, but it's definitely a lifesaver on the flight. That is for sure. So been gone since Monday, so I have not played much since the last time we spoke. So
I'll go next, Jose. Really quick, guys. How big is the Ally compared to a Nintendo Switch standard?
It's bigger.
Is it
Oh,
that
it's bigger.
unwieldy? Oh, okay, so you
Not
really
not
are
a ton bigger, but it's definitely bigger. The screen
like
feels
like
massive in a good
girth
way.
or just general dimensions, width, length. Like what do we? Everything.
It's a little
It's
deeper.
it's
Okay. All right. Anyway, I'll go really quick here. So while I've been out here, I have played some PUBG games with Pony. Shout out to Pony, been keeping me sane, dropping every now and then. I know you guys hate it, but we still have fun, and we've got
I
wins the
know,
past few
dude.
nights. And when you win, there's just nothing like
I
it.
know.
Especially like last night. I was like, Pony, we need to charge this hill. They could see across from us. They're not going to expect it because they're engaging someone else. Of course, we get the win. It was clutch to move up. And then today, Pony died way early, getting picked off on the bike. I was hiding down, picked off one guy with my saw who's running at me, aiming down sights, picked off another guy, third person. It was me versus another guy. There is not a rush in any other game than 1v1, especially in PUBG, because it's so janky and the recoil is so out of control. So if you get that last kill, there's nothing like it. And of course, I came through in the clutch, 6 kills. But I also want to say, Jose, big update on Batman. I completed all of the DLC stuff, all the heroic
Dang.
assault, and you don't even know how difficult and time consuming that was. Shout out to all the
Shout out to
randos who
you, bud.
came and dude, shout out to the randos who came in and helped me. I would just every night go to my recents and spam invites to everyone, and some people did keep coming back. So I got to shout out some of those guys. Next week I'll get some of their names because they helped me out big time. All I have left, Jose, to get all achievements is just the collectibles. And I know
Dude,
that seems
oh,
overwhelming, but that's nothing compared to this heroic assault, because like everything had to go right. I couldn't have done that on my own. Like I needed other players. It's on your gear score, Jose. Mike, maybe you end the game at like
Mhm.
1,000 or
Yeah.
something like that. You're fighting at like 40,000 boss levels, and 40,000 is their gear score and stuff like that. And no, actually, I was up to like 50 or something towards the end. So it's insane. So shout out. But boys, I've also been playing Metroid Dread, really loving this game. But again, I do want to reiterate the stupid guys, Bacon, that you can't kill. You
Mhm.
get to a
Yes.
point further in, Bacon, where they're deactivated. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank God I don't have to fight these things anymore. Like after you fight 3 of them, you meet this guy, spoilers, and he deactivates them, right? And so after that, I was like, thank God. That was really bumming me out. But then what happens later on?
He makes a bigger one.
They reactivate them again. Of course, somebody does something. So they're back up again. Bacon, I was just in a zone where you're underwater and you're trying to escape one.
Ooh.
Because I'm just in slow motion because I don't have this stupid Varia suit yet. And if you're a Metroid guy, you have to get this suit that makes water act like normal gravity after you get it. Just the worst. It's moments like that where being underwater, getting to the suit took forever. And then the EMI guys, it's like, if you guys just didn't do this game is like one of my favorite Metroidvanias ever. But they do that, and it's like, oh, it just bums me out. But I have to say, it's a fantastic game. Metroid Dread is going to be one of the games of the year for me. Like it is absolutely fantastic. I'm getting close, Bacon. I still haven't gotten the power bomb, which I think is like one of the last things I need to get. But I finally got the Varia suit. I finally can go into cold areas and water areas. Like I can feel like getting closer to the end. I still love the boss battles. There was one point where I had to fight 2 of these robot-like enemies, which was very difficult. And you're right, Bacon. This game was hard. If you're a casual
hard.
or if you don't have any experience playing Super Metroid-like games, especially the side-scrolling ones, like this game is going to be really hard for people. Like it is not a
Well,
casual game. And the fact that it sold so much is actually surprising to me. Sorry, go ahead, Bacon.
it'll make you second guess your gaming abilities. That game will definitely make you second guess if you're a gamer. Those robots are so hard and persistent.
Yeah, no, and so here's how many. So did you play Super Metroid? Sorry, I know I asked you over and over.
I did. I
Did you
think
ever
I got
beat-
to the
did you ever
third
beat
area.
it?
Oh no.
Okay, exactly. So like me being a person who loves Super Metroid, loves Ori, loves Metro. I beat Super Metroid, Metroid 2, Metroid Prime. Like I understand these games. And even me at times where I'm like, this sucks. Like this can be hard. Like I can't imagine if someone was new jumping into the game. And I think I made that comment last time, Bacon, was where Ori always felt fair. I never
Mhm.
felt like things were out of control in Ori, especially because you could save at any time, which is a cool mechanic. Um, Ori was more like you'd get to an area, but they never really. There was always some sort of direction on where you needed to go a little bit, right? And then once you got there, you would get the power that you needed for that area or the ability, and then you would clear it out, and it would be pretty easy. With Metroid Dread, dude, there are times where even I, like a seasoned Metroidvania player, I'm like, I have no idea where I'm supposed to go now. Like this is it's almost up there with Hollow Knight difficulty, I would say. But I think Hollow Knight is a degree above this, Bacon. I don't know about you, because you played both, right? But I definitely think Hollow Knight is too hard. This is just a step below it. But if you're a Metroid player like me, I love this game. I'm sad I didn't play it. My last closing question I want to throw to you about Metroid and the Switch in general, guys. Do you think, Jose, because you've had one, do you think I should just get a normal Switch, or do you think I should just stick with the Switch Lite? Like, I like it, but like I'm starting to worry, like if I do want to get a few more games, and we're only talking a handful, do I want to have the ability to play it on a TV? So what do you think? Do I stick with the small one just for travel, which is perfect for that? And the only other games I think I want to play is Link's Awakening, which you had, and Metroid Fusion, which is a Game Boy Advance game, and like another Zelda game on Game Boy Advance that I never played, which would be perfect because I'm not using 2 thumbsticks. Like that's my worry, is like thumbsticks, and I'd have to get a controller that you can use with the back button. So give me your thoughts, Jose, and then talk about what you've been playing.
So here's what I would say, because I had a Switch for a long time, and I have nothing against the Switch. I'm a huge Nintendo guy. I've been a Nintendo guy my whole life. The reason I sold our Switch was because I want to get a Series S for travel and for the girls, because they're starting to get into gaming and stuff. If you are not, and this is both for you, Dan, and for any listener out there, if you are not going to go the ROG Ally, or you're not going to go the Logitech G Cloud, I think having a Switch is a great idea. Whether you should have the one that connects to a TV, it kind of goes two ways. My opinion, Dan, for you is no. You're too far into that generation to go spend the money on a full Switch. I think you already have a Switch Lite. You can download the games you want. If you can do Dread, you can do Link's Awakening. You can do any other game that you want to play. And honestly, that's what I'm finding that I really enjoy about the Ally. It's not that it's this amazing powerhouse. I mean, it is for what it is, but it's if I wanted to play on a screen that's bigger, I would just get a laptop. I shouldn't have got the ROG Ally. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really what it's. I like that I can sit at my daughter's swim meets and play games, or I can take it to my daughter's piano lessons, or I can just Victoria's watching TV and I can sit next to her and play a game that's not a super hardcore game. All of those are really nice things to have versus being able to connect it to a TV.
Which you can do with your Ally. You just told me that the Ally is actually bigger than a Switch. So my question to you, Jose, is I can get a refurbished Switch directly from Nintendo for $269 versus $200 for a Switch Lite. Do I spend the extra $70 to get the Switch?
You will never dock
versus Switch Lite.
Yeah, I agree with Bacon.
You will never dock it. I never at one point in my life docked my Switch. Mine is literally for mobile, for travel. I just can't look at that low powered hardware on a high end monitor display. What it was worth, it was perfect.
Bacon,
as a mobile.
Counter that. I played Breath of the Wild completely docked.
Did you?
Yes.
I mean, Dan, look,
and that was the last game, by the way, that I played.
If it's worth it to you to play Link's Awakening on a large screen, because that's the only game you're going to play. I promise you. That's like, now that you're not traveling, you're not going to play the freaking Switch. Like, you get back to Denver, you're going to go back to your Series X and your Series S, and you're never going to your PC. You're never going to play the Switch except when you travel. So if it's worth it to you to be able to have that capability, and if you want to play Link's Awakening on a large screen, do it. But straight up, when you're done, sell it. Because like you're not going to play it more than that. Put the money towards the next.
Then you're right. Then maybe I'll just stick with it.
And that Switch Lite is so small and so mobile. It almost
appreciate that.
Perfect, right? So I just never see you playing it docked.
Because dude, I played with the Pro controller. It's a comfortable controller. I enjoyed my time with it.
I on Zelda too.
I loved Link's Awakening, but again, after it was done, it always was docked on my TV, and I never played it. It just sat there. That's why I was like, selling this thing. It charged a lot.
Yeah, and that was my concern, is like always having it charged there. Like, is that bad for that's got to be bad for the battery being plugged in like that, or did it not? I don't know. Anyway,
but it's not meant to last 10 years. That's the other reason. Like, that's the whole thing about this.
Thanks, guys.
In terms of what I've been playing a lot. So I told you I started Jedi Survivor. I only have about 9 hours in, but I've been taking my time, enjoying it. Beautiful world, love the puzzles. It's more Star Wars Jedi Survivor. You know what I mean? It's just like the first game, but it's cool. I like the customization. Obviously, BD1's cool. I just got to another planet. I don't want to spoil things if you still have not played, so it's been great. But what I've been really playing a lot of 26 hours of since last week is this game called Dredge. Dredge
Yeah, I
is
saw
this
you.
little boat. You're basically like a sea skipper on this little tiny island, and you wake up and you don't know what's going on, and they just hire you as like a fisherman. And I have just been having so much fun, dude. Like I literally, I was looking at my true achievement scores right before we started or like where you guys were talking this last thing, because I was like, how many hours have I put in? It's a 15 to 20 hour game, and I put 26 hours in. And I know for sure I could have finished the game already, and I'm purposefully not, because I'm trying to go find all the fish. And like one of the coolest features is that when you find a fish and you fish for them, you can find aberrations of them, which are like these weird one-off kind of scary versions of them. And I just really enjoy doing that. And it's got like a puzzle element and a story element. And I think I paid like $17 for it on sale. Awesome game. You can play it on my Ally. I got it from my Xbox, so that's why I've been playing it. But it's been really cool. And then while I was in Santa Fe the first night, I've been hearing a lot about this other game, and I was like, I'm gonna pick it up. They're having a Steam sale, so I bought it for the Ally. Dave the Diver.
Only
Um,
up.
No, not I watched those doctors respecting that game would infuriate me, like straight
Yeah,
up. I would
screw
fall once
that.
I'm done. No, but it's called Dave the Diver, and it's a cute little pixel art game. I think I paid $17 for it. And I played a bunch on the way home today in the car. Basically, you are this like very large man who is a diver, and your buddy, who reminds me of Dan when he's like 60, opens this sushi shop, and he convinces you to dive for him. So the game is half you diving into this cove, and it's like a 2D side scroller, shooting fish with your little hook, and then you give them to him, and you go meet this chef who hates you, who's this big black guy, and he teaches you his ways, and you make sushi for him at night. And it's a perfect little cycle game where it's like Stardew Valley, where it's like broken up into days. You know what I mean? So like when a day's done, cool, it's a perfect stopping point. And I've just been really enjoying it. The humor is really cool, and it keeps throwing these weird little side missions at you. I've only probably put in like 4 or 5 hours at this point, but really, really highly recommend Dave the Diver. For those of you that are IGN people, Ty Guy Travis, who's like, in my opinion, a very stickler guy when it comes to reviews, he gave it a 9, almost a 10 for Dave the Diver. So when I heard that afterwards, I was like, okay, I'll check it out. Absolutely worth it. Definitely check it out. I've been having a ton of fun there. And then of course, Halo, I'm almost through season 3 at level 100. I'm like in
Impressive,
94.
man. Good for
So
you.
I'll finish that up before I go back to work, and then I'm gonna hold off on season 4 and just wait for season 5. But other than that, man, it's a great summer. I have to go back to work next week, so my gaming time will go down a little bit, even though I game mostly at night anyway. But it's been good, man. I definitely recommend those 2 games, Dredge and Dave the Diver. Check them out if you're like into indies at all. I promise you'll love them.
Sounds good, boys. Let's close the show like we always do with the best food we had this week. And I know Jose's been eating good. I've been eating good, so I'll go first, throw it to Bacon, then close with Jose. Like I said last week, I didn't have much, but I knew I would. I just got to give a shout out. I have so much stuff, you guys. So let's go with Sheets. Of course, Sheets. I told you, I sent the text out. Sheets is the famous convenience store out here in Pennsylvania. I had bacon. Get this, or did I send you that order, Bacon, where I got the white egg and sausage, kind of like a McMuffin thing. I got one of those. I got a hot dog with all the fixings and their boom boom sauce, which was incredible. And then I also got their, what was the other thing, Jose? Oh, the snack
wrap, bud. Come on, bud.
They call them smack wraps, and they're like mixed snack wraps from the McDonald's days, Bacon, and absolutely incredible. The best thing about Sheets is you get to customize everything. You put whatever the F you want on any item on the menu, and it's made to order, is their signature thing. Love Sheets. Shout out on the 4th of July. I also tweeted out, it's called Lumpy Palooza. These guys, this Allie's cousins, their last name is Lump. They had this big celebration, and I sent a picture of my plate. We got ham and cheese sliders. We got a gumbo shrimp with sausage and all the fixings. We got corn salsas and chips, and we got this other pasta. Just an incredible day on the 4th of July. And of course, you got to have I had like 3 Michelob Ultra White Claw stuff. So eating so much out there on the 4th of July. And then the last thing I want to mention, Allie and I got a couple date nights. We went to Muscarella's. Also been sending this to you guys. First night I had sirloin. Went back again, had sirloin again. Then I got the loaded baked potato, and this was the winner bacon. It had cheese, bacon, shrimp, scallops, incredible. And then the drinks, amazing, you guys. Like $8 drinks. Got a French mule, which was like pineapple and vodka. You can get wasted real quick on those. It was ridiculous. Got an old fashioned, got a blackberry old fashioned. Like the drink prices are amazing. And then also to close it all off, you got to get your blizzards. Try the new blizzard. Jose, what was it again? The cake batter.
No, it wasn't the cake batter.
Yes,
What was the other
yes,
one you
it was
said?
Cake batter cookie dough blizzard. That's the new limited time one. Go get it. It's cookie dough with sprinkles and funfetti. Like incredible. I want it again. It might be my number one right now.
Get the Take 5. Did you try the Take 5 blizzard?
No, I didn't get the Take 5, and I saw it again. I was like, screw it. And then you get Heath Blizzard, extra Heath. I will try your Take 5 along with the cake batter cookie dough. I've been eating too much, gained the weight. The six pack is gone, Bacon. It's been bad. Jose, or actually Bacon, talk to me. What have you been eating on Hawaii? And then we'll close with Jose.
I have been eating like a king, gentlemen. I have a lifelong mission to find the best fish and chips on this planet, and I believe I found them 2 nights ago. The tartar sauce was more of like a tartar sauce aioli, and
much better sounding.
Oh my god,
I
it
like
was
that.
incredible. The sauce was just like my wife's been getting all kinds of fresh fish, and I try a bite of it. But last night I had some short ribs and some chicken. The desserts down here are huge, all ice cream desserts. Talking
the pineapple. I don't know if I ever got the pineapple out there while I was out there.
I have pineapple every morning at our inclusive resort.
Okay, you're right. I
Like,
never got. What was what do they have? Do they have like pineapple shakes or they do some
papaya is the other thing they have is a bunch of.
I did have some just normal pineapple, but I didn't have like their fancy stuff. Oh yeah,
the Laffy Taffy down here it's all tropical flavor Laffy Taffy. It's incredibles. So tonight we're gonna go down. We have reservations at 7 for a barbecue in our resort, and I think it's just all the food from the luau that they bring over for us because I don't want to pay $200 for a luau. So really looking forward to tonight's dinner. But dude, and I don't want to hear expensive drinks. I'm paying like $13 for a beer down here. It's ridiculous.
No, I'm saying inexpensive.
You saying 8 was cheap is what?
Oh yeah, yes,
yeah,
good.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, these are incredible drink prices.
Yes, but I mean, you look at anything down here, beef on a menu in Hawaii is like $37 for hamburgers. Like, okay. Yes, they do eat like kings down here, and I'm really enjoying it. So that's what I
nice.
When do you come back tomorrow, Bacon?
We come back Sunday night or Monday night.
Good. So you're not on whatever Pearl Harbor. What island is?
No, he's
Hawaii?
flying to Pearl Harbor tomorrow as a one-day flight. Yeah.
Yeah, we had to decide because it's really windy down here. So we were going to play a really expensive golf course. It was like $500 a round. So, looking at $1,000 and the wind and the stuff, it is so challenging down here that we decided to take that $500 and for $495, we can fly from here, land in Oahu, and then.
Have you been to Pearl Harbor?
I have not, but I'm a huge World War II
for sure. Yeah, no, it's awesome.
I think
it's really cool. I
think we made the right decision.
Totally worth it.
So
yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, Pearl Harbor is awesome. You know what's really cool? You flew into. You're not flying out of Honolulu.
We're flying out of Maui into Honolulu, and then
but you're not leaving there
back.
when you come.
No, we're coming back that same day. It's a day trip. It's about 14
like an
hours.
excursion.
So I was going to say, when we were flying out of Honolulu, which is really cool, they have F-22s there. They have like their Air Force base right there too. And it was so cool. I got to see some Raptors coming by. I'm like, please take off, please take off, please take off. And of course they had just landed and I was like, dang it. So anyway, sorry.
I've been to Normandy. I've seen the U.S. cemeteries. I've been to Utah Beach, Omaha Beach, Point de Hoc, like my affinity for the World War II history.
Yeah, you're going to love
when we got here, we're like, we got to go to Pearl. And I didn't even think it was going to be an option because we're on a completely different island, but apparently it is an option. So we're going to do that all day tomorrow. I'm super excited about it.
That's awesome.
Jose, close off. Tell us what the best food for you has been in New Mexico, which I'm not a big Santa Fe fan, but let's hear it.
So I'll be honest with you. We went down to Santa Fe. My wife is an art teacher, and I'm also big into art. My kids are into art, so it was one of those where she said, "Let's go for a day or two." And honestly, it's close enough that we can drive. It's a 5.5 hour drive if you don't hit traffic. And so we did. And our biggest thing was we wanted to go see Meow Wolf. So if you don't know what Meow Wolf is, they just opened one in Denver a little over a year ago. It's basically like a big art installation, but it's when I say a big art installation, that is severely underselling it. It is a crazy mind trip. I mean, you could spend hours there, at least at the Denver one. And it started in Santa Fe. So that's why we wanted to go kind of see the original one there. It was very cool. The girls liked it. I liked it. I don't know if I feel like I need to go back to it anytime soon. But anyway, we went down for that. And then it's also a big art town. So we were going to go see what it was like. And honestly, I don't feel like I need to go back anytime really, really soon. It is very, very expensive, at least in the areas that we were in. I mean, like we didn't talk drink. I mean, like I think every meal I had entree started at like $20 for like basic stuff, which is fine. Like I'm not worried about the money. It's a vacation. It was to go spend time with family, but it was one of those where like I don't feel like compelled to go back. Anyway, food was really good. It's a lot of Southwestern Mexican food, and my family traditionally is like historically is from Southwest Mexico. So like it was a lot of that kind of like red chili, green chili, that kind of stuff. So the best things I had a Frito pie on the first night, and I love Frito pie in general, but it was made with brisket in the chili, not just regular ground beef. So that was also a really cool treat. I like that. That was very good. And then we had ice cream that night, and I had a red chili and honey ice cream, which sounds kind of gross, but it was actually really sweet and then spicy at the end, which was a cool touch for it for sure. And then the other really good thing that I did have a breakfast burrito that was really good, but it was pretty basic, just covered in red sauce. But the other thing was a green chili hamburger at this place called The Shed, which is in like the center square of New Mexico. Or Santa Fe. It's like a very famous area, very famous restaurant. So it was cool, man. I mean, I had a lot of snacks, a lot of things we probably don't need to eat. But definitely excited to be back and just kind of more of a normal diet. Definitely the acid was acting up towards the end of the trip. I will tell you that after so much chili, even though I like it to death.
Speaking of, I was having problems there too, Jose. I think it was every time I'd get I had steak with shrimp, the seafood, I think something goes on in my stomach and it's not good. And I was like, you know what, I think that's what it is, because whenever I get sushi right after, we gotta go to the bathroom real quick.
I was gonna ask you with Sheets, what's pricing like at Sheets? I wanted to ask you that.
All of that food I got, those 3 items, it was like $13. So like any other place,
dirt cheap.
Yeah, it was incredible. Yeah, incredible, guys. This has been the Nerd Chat episode. I don't
114.
even know. I don't even know the title of it. I hope Jose took care of it. My name is Daddy Diwali. You can follow me at Daddy Diwali across all social media. You can follow the show at the Nerd Chat on all social media, including Threads. Go follow us over there. We have the same handles, I believe. I like the name. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. I think Threads rethread this. Hopefully,
in it.
I hope it's a good competitor. Of all of them, I feel like,
dude, there are like 10 million subscribers in 4 days. That's pretty solid.
I thought it was like 70 million.
It's 60. Yes, it's 60. It's big numbers. Yeah,
it's crazy. But dude, again, we got it. I need to see who I'm following. They need to get on that. Why is
follower only? Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that, guys. I am ready to head home.
Wait, did you change the setting? You can do that. You can change the setting right now to do that. So you only see or at least the people you follow first, and then it goes to the general one.
We'll talk about that later. Guys, I'm ready to go home. I'll be back in Colorado. Hopefully we'll have our normal show next week from Denver for all of us. And we will also hopefully have Matt on, and pray to the FTC gods that we can just be done talking about that. So Chipotle Bear, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Chipotle_Bear. You can find me also on Twitter, Chipotle_Bear, and Instagram and Threads at Chipotle Bear. Always feel free to reach out. Always happy to interact with everybody, making a lot of new friends over there. Thank you for supporting us. If you wouldn't mind hitting that like button or subscribing, tell your friends. We'd appreciate it. We're up to 160 subscribers on YouTube, which is awesome. We're a small podcast, but getting a little bigger every day. Happy to be here and chatting about all things Xbox.
Also, shout out to BigBox, shout out to Goose, shout out to Bacon. We are going to be seeing Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 this Tuesday. We cannot wait. Bacon, where can people find you?
You can find me at XBacon Gaming on all your major socials. My Threads is XBacon Gaming with 2 N's at the end instead of 1. Not sure why it is, but it is. I'd apologize in advance for any quality issues I'm having. I'm going over my 5G in Hawaii linked to my MacBook and
Working just
streaming
fine.
out. But
It's pretty good, but
seems
not
like
gonna
it
lie.
did.
Yeah.
It was better than the hotel Wi-Fi. So hopefully next week we're back to normal. But thanks for taking the time to watch, guys. And that's about it.
As always, threaders, see you online.
See you online.
See you online.
See you online. Mahalo.
No, I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads. Now, evidently, my cycloptic colleague informs me that that can't be done. Can you remind me what I pay you people for? Honestly, throw me a bone here.
The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast, is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. The show was created by Daniel Walenzik, and you can follow him at Daddy Diwali across all social media. The assistant to the co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle_bear. The assistant to the co-host is Chance Siegel, and you can follow him at BubbleBoyN7. The intern to the assistant to the co-hosts is Jason Jarrett, and you can follow him at XBaconGaming. You can also follow the show at The Nerd Chat across all social media. And if you'd like to find out more about the show,